Si la política mundial es los productos verdes, ¿por qué el gobierno americano no ha firmado los pactos ambientales como el Pacto de Río?
Why hasn't it been? Why?
I don't know. I wish I knew. The American government does a lot of things that we don't always agree with, so I can't really say necessarily. They have their own reasons, but it certainly is not UL's position to comment on those. I don't know. I haven't been in the meetings as to why they haven't done that. I can tell you my own personal opinions, and when I'm not standing up in front of you, I would be happy to, but I don't know. Good question, though. You guys are...
Aquí hay otra pregunta que nos formula Lince. Para que las marcas, y entre paréntesis el producto, no se considere maquillado, ¿cuántas son las mínimas partes del producto biodegradables para que se certifiquen como producto verde?
Yeah, so the question is, I believe, is specific in relation to biodegradability and what the percentage is to not be considered greenwash. There's two different ways to know this. First of all, understanding if you're trying to use it to qualify for points, let's say in LEED, then that will call for a specific amount of biodegradability that must be contained within a product, within a building. So you'd want that certified to that percentage. If you're looking about just specifically talking about communicating that a product is biodegradable, what's the percentage amount? And the answer, at least in the eyes of a lot of the government entities in the EU and the US, etc., would be 100%. Unless you caveat it, unless you specifically say on there 80% biodegradable, or 60% biodegradable, or 50% biodegradable. So the answer is, you can do as much as you want as long as you communicate the percentage that is biodegradable and the percentage that isn't biodegradable. But if you just slap something on a table and say this is biodegradable when in fact maybe only 60% of it is, then that would absolutely be considered greenwash by most of the policy entities out there.
¿Cree usted que reemplazar la madera para construcción por plástico reciclado es una ventaja o una desventaja para el medio ambiente?
Yeah, recycled plastic, so the question was about the use of recycled plastic and whether or not that's an advancement environmental. And the question is, it's an application by application basis. What we do know for a fact is that recycled plastic tends to emit chemicals at a higher level than new plastic does. So you have health issues there. Additionally, we do know that recycling isn't always the most environmentally friendly means of using a new product. Of course, we want to recycle all the time, but actually recycling processes for certain products, you can emit a lot of CO2, for example, in the actual process of recycling. So you need to understand what the trade-off is. So without knowing what the specific product is and what the specific trade-off would be, I can't say, but I do agree that there are environmental trade-offs with recycled plastic that you do need to understand before you just say, well, this is recycled, so it's better. And we actually see that a lot. Just because it's recycled doesn't necessarily mean in and of itself that it's overall better for sustainability than a product that is not recycled. So it's always important to understand, and that was kind of what we talked about with the sins of greenwashing, which is the sin of the trade-off, right? The sin of the hidden trade-off. You may not understand it, we may not even know, but if it's actually worse for the environment and yet we're still touting it as green, that's something we want to try to avoid.
Estas normas se han creado para proteger al usuario estadounidense o es una oportunidad para un mercado, entre comillas, justo para Sudamérica.